All right,
That's my
everybody,
intro.
welcome in to the Turnover Show. Today, we are discussing the NHL playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a round of applause to the NHL playoffs.
We're
Could
all
be
we're all
my
excited.
favorite playoffs of all the sports. Yeah, we're all pumped up for it. And right now, we're just going to be talking about what our favorite first round matchups are going to be, and what's most anticipated. What we want to see. Who do we want to win? Let's
Yep.
find out. Let's hear from the boys. All right.
I mean, who do I want to win? Anybody but the Panthers. Uh,
I like
but
that.
but mainly the Lightning. I'll take the Lightning or I'll take the Capitals. Um, I I don't know. I mean, I'm from Tampa Bay, so I gotta go with the Lightning. But I honestly, as long as the Panthers don't win, I'll be okay. I honestly wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Connor McDavid getting a trophy either.
I would love that.
Because I
I would
was,
love some shade.
yeah, last year Trey and I we watched that whole series together, and we were betting the whole thing, and we were invested, and we were both rooting for the Oilers at the end, and came up one game short, but it was a great series. So I don't know. I'm excited. We got a lot of really good matchups. Unfortunately, the Lightning have to play the Panthers first round.
Hell
So
of a match.
yeah, that's gonna be a
But
crazy series. That's gonna be a crazy series. But I'm
I
excited.
think that yeah, I think that might be my most anticipated what I want to watch series
Yeah.
because quite honestly, I'm not a huge fan of both of these teams as a Bruins fan,
Hmm.
but you got to recognize, an in-state rivalry when you see it.
Well, and
And
it's an
this
in-state rivalry, but it's also you grew up in that state. You know, you went well, not grew up, but you went to high school in that state. You
yeah,
know,
that's true.
I mean, you're a little bit
If
more
I'm rooting for
connected
a
than
team,
some.
I'm rooting for the Lightning over the Panthers all day every day,
Oh yeah,
but unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to win that series. I mean, we'll get to it whenever we get to our predictions, but I think it's going to be that series is going to be probably my most watched. I'm going to probably watch pretty much. I am going to watch all of those games.
yeah,
I'm going to probably watch honestly all of these games because Stanley Cup playoffs is could be the best playoffs out of any sport.
yeah, yep. Me too.
As it's very questionable, but you see it and you watch these games and the physicality turns up, the the mentality turns up. I mean, these people just it's like there's just a different level between the regular season of NHL between the playoffs.
Yep.
And it's not anything that you really see in any other sport, which is kind of wild. Like NBA usually, I mean not usually, but a lot of the times the best team wins. And you have that one seed that goes through and just smokes everybody, and that's what it is. I mean, you saw the Celtics last year; they walked through and pretty much just smoked everybody with injuries and all that. But you look at the NHL playoffs, and they have the President's Cup curse, which is every team that has the best record in the playoffs hasn't won the Stanley Cup in who knows how long.
Yep.
So you know that the best team probably isn't even going to win Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah,
It's like it's like the March Madness of professional sports playoffs.
I agree. Trevor, what do you think, man? This might be your first Stanley Cup watch.
yeah, I've always watched all. I mean, not like I'm not like a I'm not a true watcher per se. I've always like kept an eye on it every once in a while. I know who I want to win. I have two options since the two places I've lived. It's either the Panthers or it's the Caps. Oh, my first love was the Caps, big Caps guy, but I've since being down in Florida. The Panthers have I've gone to a Panthers game. They shouted out my mom, so like my mom got put on the big screen and stuff. It was pretty cool. So I have to root for the Panthers because of that. But though, yeah, those are my two teams. Not really too sure with I'm not gonna go out and say like players and fucking plays and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe I'll tune back in. We'll probably have a pod. I'll tune back in after this playoff, and maybe I have a change of heart.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Well,
watch some more after
well,
this.
okay, so we already talked about Panthers Lightning's one of our favorite matchups. So, any other matchups that you could see happening in this first round that you guys are really interested in, or Trey in
Yeah,
particular?
I got two that actually I'll go with three that I'm going to be really invested in because I think all of these series are going to go to 7 games. And I think all of them could go either way. I'll say the Avalanche versus the Stars. I think that both teams are juggernauts and they match up really well against each other. So that's going to be an absolute dogfight. The Kings versus the Oilers. I love the Oilers, but man, I mean the Kings have just really been playing well. Their defense is amazing. Can they get over the hump and make it to the second round? I don't know, especially against Draisaitl and McDavid on that offense. Very tough. That's a matchup I really want to see. And my last matchup would be the Hurricanes versus the New Jersey Devils. That's going to be a dogfight again. So both those teams are just really hard hitting. They're gritty.
Really fun to watch. Really fun teams
Yeah,
to watch.
yeah, really fun to watch. The Hurricanes can score,
Hmm.
and so can the Devils. And they're pretty much. You look at like the defensive and offensive stats by team, and the Hurricanes and the Devils are pretty much even in both of those. So
Yeah.
that's that. I feel like those series are almost almost all of them are coin flips, like of who's gonna win. Especially that Carolina New Jersey Devils one is like who knows who's gonna win that.
Yeah.
But I think honestly all three of those series could really go either way.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Well, so I mean it's gonna be a fun Stanley Cup. I'm excited. We got a sign off here. We got 20 minutes till the first game starts. So, but the only advice I've got is if you're gonna bet, use our strategy. First
At
period.
this,
Watch the first period of the game, and then get on your app wherever you like to place your bets. Look at the second period money line and bet based on your impressions of the first period. If you look at the first period and you're not sure what's happening in the second period, don't bet. But if you're in the first period and somebody, I mean, and you just feel it. Somebody, it's coming. Bet. And Trey and I cleaned up last year on that.
we were pretty much undefeated in our bets after watching the first period. We'd watch it and we'd wait. There's like I want to say it's like a 20-minute intermission between the first and second period.
Hmm.
We would sit there and talk about it for 5 minutes, and then we put in our bet of who's gonna win the second period, and we pretty much, I think we won every single time.
Yep, we did. Other than the only time that we didn't win was the last game because we bet that the Oilers would score and they didn't. But we honestly
Oh.
weren't betting with our head there at the end. We just wanted the Oilers to win.
Yeah, at
So
that point, it was such an emotional series. It was
yeah, we wanted the comeback. We
We
wanted
did.
what nobody had ever done. That's what we wanted. But maybe this year
Maybe this year the Oilers can do it. I mean, they
they'll
do
catch
have
him.
a hell of a first round matchup, but
They
we'll
have a
see
hell
how
of
it
a
goes.
first round matchup, but if they go through that, depending on how well they dominate that series, if they dominate it and they've got that revenge plot, man, they won it. They almost
And
they were one game away.
they would play the Vegas Golden Knights or the Minnesota Wild in the second round, which I think they easily have an opportunity to beat either one of those teams, and they're back in the Western Conference Final.
Yep.
So I think all it takes is them beating the Kings, and I think I think they have a really strong ability, at least to make it to the conference finals, maybe even the cup again.
Yep. I think so too. I think you're right. All right. Well, Trey, you want to sign us out here, bro? You got any last
Yeah, I
words
got
here?
Last words: watch the games, everybody. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs. It doesn't get much better than this. Tune into it. First game starting at 6 right now. I think we'll have the video up by it, but watch those games. You won't be disappointed. I'll tell you that. And you watch the NBA playoffs. I just watched the Pacers Bucks game, and that was a blowout for pretty much all of the game. You most of the time will not see that in the NHL playoffs. It's a gritty, tough game every single time. These guys are going out there. They're physical. They're tough. It's gonna be a hell of a playoffs. All these matchups are just phenomenal.